Welcome to another edition of From the Front Lines, where we discuss both the day-to-day and one-of-a-kind issues facing real estate managers. Today I'm here with Rob Finlay of 30 Capital and Lobby CRE. Welcome, Rob. I understand your background is in tech and innovation in the commercial real estate space. Can you speak to some of the latest innovations you're seeing right now?
Thanks, Suzanne. It's great to be here. It's really been a really exciting couple of years in terms of innovation and technology in commercial real estate. And I think the thing that we're really focused on from a firm and what we're seeing in the market is more of this concept of consumable technology. And by that, I mean that the technology that is being delivered in the market is readily usable to the user. And so we're seeing things like IoT as being very popular and home automation or apartment automation. We're seeing a lot of things in the business intelligence, the data and analytics side. That's really I think that's probably one of the biggest areas where we're seeing a lot of benefit from companies being able to get all their data together and really make good decisions and really maximize property values by using a good platform. So there's a lot of things out there that we're seeing specifically that is consumable, where the user can get it today and start using it in the next couple of days. So it's a really exciting time in the innovation space of commercial real estate.
So in terms of business intelligence, what are real estate managers looking for right now in order to make the most informed decisions in the field?
Well, I think it's funny. Business intelligence. I'm almost embarrassed to tell this story because I'm a real estate person by trade and got into technology later on. But I learned my lesson about business intelligence the hard way. And that was I ended up buying, this was several years ago. I ended up buying a business intelligence tool, and I was left alone with the salesperson at a conference, and I'm looking at this BI tool, and I'm like, wow, boy, I'm going to be able to make all these great decisions. I'm going to be able to visualize everything, and this is going to be just amazing. I'm going to be the most amazing real estate practitioner ever. Only to realize after I bought this, of course, is that a BI tool is only as good as the data that's attached to it, or in other words, the data that you have in your system. And that's where really the light bulb came off for me, where it's that in order for any user or any practitioner to have value out of their BI tool, first and foremost, they have to have data in an organized fashion. And to put it, one of my CTOs actually put it to me very easily for me to consider, to understand. And that is, think of data as speaking a different language. So if you're using, example one of a property management system, well, it could be speaking Greek. And if you had a lease management system, that might be speaking French. And if you had something else, it would be speaking, Excel, you have different languages. And so those systems don't talk to each other. And so you need to put it into a system that will actually translate each one of your data into a single language, and then you can use it on the BI tool. So, so really, once you go through the steps of having that data and put that data together, and the BI tool, all of a sudden the world is open from a visualization standpoint, an analytics standpoint. I think one of the things that is actually very surprising for most people, though, is without data and without being able to get it in these BI tools, ignorance is bliss. But when all of a sudden you have all of this data and these data put together and all this information, it's about being able to take that data in and actually be able to activate it and be able to do things with it. And that's really where the power is. We realized on average that an average asset manager or property manager is consuming about 3,500 bits of information on a property. And so being able to take all of that information into a single source and be able to look at it and slice and dice it and just visualize that information differently has been incredibly powerful to really enhance asset values.
So, to that end, Lobby CRE is IREM's partner on our new income expense IQ portal. What do you think our users will find most useful? What will they be seeking in this new dashboard?
Right. Well, so the greatest thing first is that getting the data in, and once you have the data organized, now you can really be able to use it in the way that you want to. But I think that the benchmarking is such an important tool for anybody who's who's almost doing any type of business, seeing where you are relative to your peers. And I really look at this as a peer-to-peer benchmark. How are other operators performing in the same or similar market, in the same or similar property types? How are they relative to me? And it gives us a really strong way to improve what we do for a living. And I think that's where the benchmarking tool is really powerful, because now it gives you just information that it's data is undeniable, right? It's data. And so knowing that a property next to you is maybe has a lower cost or a higher cost, whatever it is, it now gives you the ability to benchmark yourself and figure out specifically the things in your property that you have to improve or operate more efficiently. So I think it's an incredibly valuable tool, and I think as the market starts to do this, I think more and more asset owners and institutional investors are really looking at benchmarking to set performance. Really, this concept of alpha, which is how well you perform over somebody else, and that's really going to become very important as owners look to judge the performance of their property managers and their property operations group.
Absolutely, especially with some of the recent shifts we're seeing due to the pandemic. It will be interesting. How do you think that this intelligence could potentially impact the company's bottom line or the property's bottom line?
Well, I'll tell you, to me, it's seeing the way in operating real estate in the past. And I think I had mentioned before, I'm not only a technologist, I also own and operate real estate. And so a lot of the products that we've built over the last 20 years have all been around what our own needs as a property owner and operator are. And I think what we've seen is, looking at a financial statement every month and going through and being at the age where I grew up before computers, and I still own my red marker, the same marker that my dad used who's in commercial real estate and my grandfather who's in commercial real estate, and they all use the same thing. And we were used to looking at operating statements and with our red pen and trying to draw and write lines and look at stuff and look at variances and stuff. Well, all of a sudden now you get all this information, and the visibility of knowing what's good or bad becomes so clear and apparent that you really, to be able to identify opportunities or problems is presented so clearly with a BI tool or with a benchmark that you can quickly come in and say, hey, you know what, I've got an issue here. We need to address it. We can address it and we can see it to the bottom line. And I know that from my own portfolio personally, utilizing a business intelligence tool has really helped us with our acquisitions and with our asset management, with our finance and our development, and our debt management, that it really has changed our operations completely.
It's funny you mentioned the red pen. I know here at IREM, there were X-Acto knives and glue involved about 50 years ago in comparing benchmarks. So I understand what you're saying. So that was kind of the past of the benchmarking tools. Looking ahead to the future, what are some predictions you might make about future BI and other innovations in CRE?
Well, I think the thing that we look at is it never ceases to amaze me on how much of our time as a practitioner of real estate, how much of our time revolves around sort of mundane administrative tasks, right? And so, I get a report here, I've got to go look at it here, I've got to go add some information from this spreadsheet, and I got to go put it here, and then I've got to go report on it, and then they want to see a graph instead. And so all of this like sort of administrative details and tasks will go away because of a BI tool, because BI tools allow you to take this visualization. So I think a lot of the first real benefit is not only you're gonna operate your properties much more efficiently, but there's also that side benefit of your day is now involved in looking at data and looking at opportunities or analyzing, as opposed to sort of just consolidating, collecting, and cutting and pasting. So I see that. I also see that as we look at transportability, I guess, if you will, of data, right? As a property manager, I'm accumulating properties. I'm going to make the reports. I'm going to send it over to an asset manager. That asset manager is going to take information. They're going to put information together and they're going to pass it on to somebody else. All of those as the systems evolve and as technology evolves and the utilization and the adoption of technology evolves, I think we're going to see much more fluid transfer of data and information on properties.
It'll be very exciting to see what the future, in fact, holds. Thank you so much for your time today, Rob.
Oh, thank you, Suzanne.
Visit irem.org for more knowledge to take on real estate management's most dynamic challenges. That's www.irem.org.